On now to our next phone interview. A nurse at Northwestern Memorial Hospital says she was fired after she wore her own N95 protective masks instead of the mask that was provided by the hospital and advised other nurses to do the same. Her name is Lauri Mazurkiewicz, and she suspects she was let go because her advice could potentially spur protests or even walkouts by nurses who didn't have the same level of protection. Her attorney is Blake Horwitz. He is joining us now via Zoom, and hopefully this works today. Mr. Horwitz, we tried to talk to you yesterday, so we appreciate you coming back.
Good morning, can you hear me?
Okay, great. I can hear you great. Okay, so let's just start from the beginning. How did this all come about? How was your client told she was being let go? Walk us through that.
So what happened was she had her own supply of N95 masks. And that was a supply she just had on her own. She's an infectious disease nurse. And she's worked with infectious diseases for quite a long time, over 10 years. And she said, I am going to wear this N95 mask. At the hospital, Northwestern Hospital, which is, we all know, a pretty respectful institution, they said, no, you cannot wear that. And she said, yeah, I'm going to wear the mask, and that's what's needed to be worn.
Okay.
So the alternative that she was given was a regular surgical mask, which is a pretty loose fitting mask. So for example, here's an example of the N95 mask, and the looser fitting mask is the regular sort of mask we see. I don't have an example of one, but it's sort of a soft cloth that you just see over the face. It doesn't have the protective, I don't know if you can see it. It doesn't have the protective areas here that really, let's see if I get it in.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. So she was told not to wear the mask. If it's a hospital policy that they're saying you can't do this, was it their right to let her go as a result?
No, because what she did was two things. The first is she says, I'm going to do what's going to allow me to be safe. And the second thing she did was she informed others that this is what you knew, this is what you need to do to be safe. So for example, if my boss said to me, put your hand in the plutonium, and I said no, and then the boss said you're fired, well, you can't fire somebody over them just wanting to do that which is safe.
Right.
Alternatively, you can't say you need to do this and endanger your life. But more importantly and more significantly, what's a clear proposition of law is if she tells others, hey, this is what you need to do to be safe, and then her employer says, you're out of here, which happened 24 hours after she sent out an email to 50 colleagues at Northwestern.
So I have a question for you. So I have to ask you this question because I think some people are wondering, were there prior issues with her that might have led up to this final thing that occurred with them firing her? Were there prior issues in the past?
I don't know of any. What I can tell you is the theme that we have learned, this exact theme, you may have heard it as well on Fox, is occurring all over the nation. That many nurses, we've had calls from nurses and doctors all over the country with the exact same thing. So perhaps those other people, based upon your question, would also be having problems, but I doubt it.
Okay.
It's a theme. In fact, it's also occurring in New York, and the story's playing out in New York as well at a pretty large scale.
Absolutely. So, I'm sure everybody just wants to be cautious. We are out of time. Do you hope to get money out of this? Does she want her job back? What's your final answer there?
Her most important thing, and she wanted to be on today, but I guess there was a technical issue. Her most important communication right now is to just let people know, and most importantly is for the hospitals to undertake a safe practice.
Okay.
That's her essential communication. Please undertake a safe practice so that the medical providers don't get sick and the patients don't get sick and it doesn't get transmitted. At the N95, there's apparently other safer ways, but that the N95 is a very good mask that should be used.
Okay, Mr. Horwitz, thanks so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate.
You're welcome.